Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Today I have a special guest with me, Shane Starzyk from Las Vegas, and he is here today to talk about an experience that he had back in 2021, which in some way mirrors the Las Vegas alien incident that we've been talking about a lot of 2023, except what he saw was something going the other way. It looked like, according to Shane, it was an object that looked something like a comet, but it was going upward instead of downward. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, Shane. And so I guess how did this happen? When did it happen exactly? What was the month, the day, and the if you could remember exactly?
It was November of 2021. My son had just turned 10. I don't remember the exact date. I can find it because of my search history.
Okay.
But it was November 2021. It was approximately 10:50 p.m. And so this is what happened. I had just been outside throwing out trash or something, and it was just gorgeous out. So I came in and I was like, "Hey, little Shane, you want to take a walk?" And he's like, "Yeah." You know, he jumps on that 95% of the time. And it was just so nice out that it was just irresistible. So we left the apartment at approximately 10:45, and we were leaving the apartment property, and we had to also pass by a parking lot where there's a bar just on the other side of the property here, and that's on Atlantic. And we're walking on Atlantic, heading toward Sahara Avenue. And we're just walking, and we had just turned the corner, heading towards Sahara. And then all of a sudden, I saw this light going up from the other side of a tree. And my initial thought was it was a firework. So I immediately looked to my son to see what he was doing, and he's doing what kids do. He was just staring at the ground, looking at whatever he could find, you know. And so I looked back, and I already had it in my head that I was getting ready to say, "Ha ha, I saw it." But when I turned back, the light didn't make a firecrack, you know, it didn't have a bottle rocket noise, and it just, oh God, so hard to explain, but it just, as I'm turning back around, I see it going up, and then it was above the tree line, and what I could see was that it was a sphere. And I was like, what's that? And immediately I alerted my son and pointed out, I don't remember if I said exactly what, but I said something to the effect of, "Check that out," or "What's that?" And I pointed, and according to my son, he saw the sphere immediately when I pointed out. He said that he wasn't looking around and couldn't figure out what I was talking about. He said he knew exactly what I was pointing at. So at this point, he is now seeing everything that I saw. And the only thing that I saw first was it just going up from behind the tree. And I didn't watch it the entire time because I was checking out to see what he was doing. So we're just standing there watching it. And the first thoughts that I had were that a sign somewhere on Charleston, which is the next major street over, a sign had just been installed. I used to work in signs, and a lot of times they install signs at night because of the customers aren't around. There's less traffic. It's Vegas, so there's no heat at night, and like you just cook out in the sun here. So that was what was going through my mind. There's got to be a sign, and I had this like little kind of a green tinge. It was like a milky jade. Like there's some jade that's really dark green, and there's some jade that's like almost white. And in my opinion, it's like, that's not jade. I want to see green when I'm thinking of jade. But it was a milky green jade color, and it was just sitting there. And in about 5 seconds, me and my son were just staring at it, not even talking. And then it just went like this. For those out there and for yourself, how you could best duplicate it is pretend you're squeezing a grape just a couple inches away from your face, and then extend your arm straight. That motion is the only way I could really replicate how it left from Sahara all the way over to the northern mountains and beyond it in about a second. And it's probably less. I've never actually timed this motion, but I'm thinking 0.7, 0.8 seconds. So it just, me and my son were just staring at the mountain, just like waiting for it to come back. And I couldn't even breathe. I was frozen. And I was like thinking to myself, like, how much longer am I going to keep looking in this direction? Like, that thing's not coming back. That thing is gone. And I'm still not breathing yet. And then I'm like, that thing's in Colorado right now.
In a second, less than a second.
Well, after staring at the in that direction for several seconds is when it really be in Colorado. You know, it wasn't like it was instantaneously. There was like, I've been staring at the, you know what I mean? I'm staring at the where it went for, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and I'm like, that thing's gone. At this time, it's probably in Colorado or farther. So we just were like, what was that? And I was talking to my son, and I was telling him that the only thing I've ever seen that has moved that fast is a comet. And I've seen hundreds, dozens and dozens of shooting stars over the years. That is the only thing I have ever seen that moved with that kind of speed. So when we got home, I immediately started looking up green comets, because our conversation was, is a green comet even possible? Because I've never actually seen one. I've always seen, they're always just white and then gone. And this was clearly a bit of a green color. And sure enough, when I got home, I found some so-called comet videos, and a couple of them were very creepy. I was like, that looks like what I saw, but they're calling them meteors in these videos. So I was a little confused. I wasn't sure what to make of it exactly, but I knew that was not human technology. That was not something we were supposed to have yet.
So I always sort of be for one thing, how big was it, would you say, this object?
My guess was it was about 6, maybe 8 feet in diameter, and it was a perfect sphere. Like, what was disappointing is this new egg-shaped UFO. I am extremely adamant that it was not egg-shaped. It was a perfect sphere, and it didn't move. When it took off, it didn't take off like it was started off at 1,000 and 2,000 miles an hour. It was an instantaneous 30-something thousand miles per hour, and I just did that by doing the math, and that was actually being generous, because it could be going even faster, because I was using it as it approximately going 10 to 15 miles. Well, I went on the low side, saying, okay, just 10 miles. Well, it was probably less than a second, but let's say it's a full second, and that's actually bringing the speed down when you figure out the final numbers. I think it was going 30-something thousand miles an hour, and I knew, my son knew, like, that was not a plane, that was not a drone. When it took off, it was like directly north, and it literally just barely missed hitting the mountains. It just cleared them, and when the craft went by, it illuminated part of the mountainside for just a minuscule of a second, but like, you saw it was there. Like, you're like, oh my god, that was the mountain. Like, it's gone now, it's way past it. So
wow. Okay, and so, I guess the next question would be, and so this was like, you saw a video of that object that came down from the sky in the Vegas case, and you say that looks similar to that.
Okay, yeah, let's fast forward. So I've been telling my friends and family, not overly, but I wasn't hiding what I saw. So approximately a year and a half later, come June 2024, a coworker told me about a news story about a UFO crashing in Vegas, and I was like, whatever, yeah. I don't even want to hear about it. Well, I saw a video, and I wasn't all that impressed, and now we know there's more information in that video. But when it was first released, there wasn't any information really about the video. It was just real quick. I didn't see anything. I was like, I don't know what to make of it. Then what happened was they had the body cam from the police officer after they had shown the video of the kid, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I jumped out and I was like, that is what I saw. Oh, I don't know what I just did.
No, I'm playing it right now. This is from the body cam footage right here. There it is right there. You see it.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's what I saw. Oh my God. And
right there.
I was like, that is it. And that is not the better right. Is that when the guy's he's talking to a sub?
Yeah, he was talking to a subject there that have it blocked out, and that's right when the object was falling here. I have you can just see it
right there.
And then there's other video here that captured there was other video that I have here that shows an object coming down from this car here. You can see it falling off to the left really quick. They'll show a slow motion here. Here it is right here. You'll see right there. It looks like that. That was from a different angle.
I've never seen this one before.
Yeah, right there. That was another angle. And then there's a clear view of the object. This was from a self-driving car, and actually it filmed it. There was no heat signature on it. You could see it falling there in the distance. Here's a close-up of it right there. It gave off no heat signature.
That is the green.
That's what the same thing you saw, except it was hovering, and then it lifted up off the ground, hovered near a tree, and this was at Atlantic and Sahara over a parking lot in Las Vegas.
Yes, right in front of a DMV. There's an adjacent building in a corner right in front, and it was in the very northwest corner of that building that's in the front, because the DMV is kind of set back a bit of a ways, and there's a huge giant parking lot. And then for some reason there's this weird little not little, it's kind of a big building, but it's not huge, but it's just right on the corner, and it was on the very northwest corner of that building. If anybody wants to go on Google Earth, you're going to see some evergreen trees in the northwest corner, and those are the trees that it came up from behind.
Did you see this video that I have on the screen right now?
No.
Okay, now this actually captured sound when the thing was coming down. This was is this the crash? Yeah, this is the thing coming down from the sky. You'll actually hear the sound in this little portion of the video. Here, I'll play it. Right, it's in a loop.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that, honestly.
Yeah, that was another angle of the same object that came down in Vegas in 2023, right before midnight on April 30th.
Dude, you are awesome. I knew there had to be more videos than the police body cam. I knew there had to have been more videos out there. I'm impressed. You just found that you're just basically finding out about this whole Las Vegas incident. You're not as up to speed with it at this point from 2023, but now you're starting to see this in a way. When we were talking yesterday on the phone, you were saying that it's reminiscent of what you saw, except you saw actually moving off the ground, hovering near a tree, and then taking off at an incredible speed, 35,000 miles per hour plus. Yeah, like the famous song goes, "Leaving Las Vegas." That's how we saw it. It left Las Vegas, and this view of 2023.
2023, yes, yeah.
That was it coming into town, and I I had emailed George Knapp, and I told him that when I had seen it take off, it moved so fast that it did have a tail, but the tail wasn't from afterburner or exhaust or something. It was like light was trying to keep up with the object. And the best way to, like, if you've ever burned incense at night and waved the incense around, you could see that it kind of has a trail, lights kind of trying to keep up with the incense, it was like that. That's the only way I can really describe it.
Now, what was your son's reaction to this at the time? He was 10 years old?
Yeah, he was 10. He didn't have a lot to say. He's more freaked out about it than I am. He doesn't like telling his friends about it. He's quiet about it. He doesn't like to. He's more worried about the stigma of having seen it and being called crazy and whatnot. And I don't care. I'm 50, so.
Yeah, now that's the thing. Here's a question for you. Now, before this happened, what was your thoughts on this whole phenomenon, or if there were any thoughts?
I'd always believed that aliens have to be out there, and that, like the movie Contact, if we're the only ones, it's an awful waste of space. And I really held on close to that, and I didn't expect to ever see a UFO. Like I wanted to believe Bob Lazar and all these other UFOologists. I wanted to believe them, but I'd never seen anything. There was nothing tangible that could connect me to what they were saying. When I saw that, I knew that was alien technology. I gave it a 95% likelihood that was alien, and I thought, being that we're near Area 51, maybe there was a 5% chance that it was human built. But the way it moved, it was clear that it was not human. So I also agreed with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I saw this one video where he explained that the vastness of space and that we're so far away, aliens may not find us and we may not find them during both of our lifespan. It was most likely not going to happen. And I was like, that sounds more reasonable than saying there's no life out there, that aliens don't exist. So I figured, you know what? They're probably so far away we'll never see them. I didn't disbelieve that they weren't here or they didn't exist, but when I saw that craft November 2021, I knew. But I was reserved. Like, I wasn't just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like you had to like internalize it and just accept it and then just go on with your daily life. Because now we had this conversation yesterday. Now I'm in the know that they are here, and I don't just believe that they exist. I don't think that they exist. I know that they exist. I've seen them with my own two eyes. And being skeptical, all you people watching out there, don't worry about being skeptical. It's human. I'm skeptical of Jim's stories. I can't help it. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. So I understand this being skeptical, but I also understand that it's like religion. Like they tell you, like to believe in God, you just got to have faith. Well, I don't think you need to have faith. You just need to trust. I think it's a trust issue. You have to trust that what I'm telling you is the truth. I'm not lying. I'm not here for 15 minutes of infamy. And being 50, I've seen so many people who've been out there for their 15 minutes of fame. They usually end up worse off than where they started. So I'm not looking for trouble. I'm already living at the bottom of life. So for me, I can't lose a whole lot, but my life can get worse, and I don't want it to. But I don't have a whole lot to lose, and I refuse to stay quiet about this because it happened. I'm not going to keep my head in the sand.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, now I feel like that too. I feel like, okay, you have your story, and I believe your story. Because I could, I've had experiences. I know that this stuff is real. Now you're in that camp of, okay, now I know for a fact, because there's no way that this could have been man made. Basically, that's what you're telling yourself, because we don't have technology that could move around like that and fly at those kinds of speeds. I mean, and like you said, there's always that small chance, like it could be something that we're operating, because Area 51 is near Las Vegas. However, I don't know. For one thing, why would they be testing it at Atlantic and Sahara in Vegas? Why would they be flying around there? I don't think they would do that. I'm leaning more toward this being non-human intelligence. That's what it sounds like to me. It wasn't just you who saw it. Your 10-year-old son saw it. It freaked him out. It caused you actually were questioning it. You went back to your house and you're looking up green comets, because apparently you weren't accepting what you just saw at first, and then you came to terms with it. That's what it sounds like to me.
I was mostly come to terms with it by the time I got home, but I wanted to still follow through with looking for a green comet, just to do my due diligence, just so I can't say, nope, that's an alien and that's it, period. No, I gave it some serious thought and replayed what happened in my mind millions of times over by now. And it's just, that was not human. There's no freaking way. And there's that saying, breakneck speed. Well, this thing took off with speed. Like, I was literally thinking, like, could a human even survive what I just saw? So that's what I was really wondering. And I really wanted to ask Dr. Greer, who was piloting the craft that I saw. Was it humans or was it aliens? That's what I really wanted him to tell me. A year and a half later, I got an answer, and it is what it is.
You got an answer from
what those kids? I don't. God, what's his name? I forgot the kid's name. The kid in the backyard.
Angel.
That's real. Angel.
Yeah.
I have to believe pretty much everything Angel and his family has said, because I saw that UFO, and if they're associating the aliens with that UFO, well, then I have to acknowledge that is most likely true.
So you actually
I don't like it.
You like, okay, now let's get back to this object a little bit. So at first, when you first looked at it, it looked like it came off the ground and then hovered and then rose up to the tree top level and then took off. How long would you say this event occurred? Like how much time did all this go down in?
10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, and that's stretching it. I'd say it probably was. It just took 2 or 3 seconds for it to go above the tree, and then it just stayed stationary, and it probably was like that about 5 seconds. And it sucks that what I saw isn't groundbreaking. There's not a whole lot of information, but it's there and it happened, and I wish I could. Yeah, I wish I could be a better person to interview, and I give you all the information. But
well, what are you going to do? I mean, now this is a thing. You didn't even think about your cell phone. I guess you wouldn't even know. You weren't even sure what you were looking at that time. Why?
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't. Okay, this is Vegas, and being that I had my phone for like 4 or 5 years at the time, that was a valuable phone. So I didn't bring my phone when we went out on a walk, just in case I got mugged. To be honest, and as a parent, I struggle with not bringing my phone, because what if there's an emergency? Well, there's cars going by, and if I needed to wave somebody down, that would happen in just a few seconds. But it's Vegas, so I didn't bring my phone. And when I saw it going above the tree and then still staying stationary, nothing otherworldly came to mind. It was something that had to be created by us. There's a reasonable explanation for what I was looking at. Aliens, UFO did not even enter my mind until it took off. And by the time it took off and I realized what I was looking at, It was already gone. There was no way I could pull my phone out of my pocket, turn it on, swipe, locate the camera, hit camera, wait for the camera to turn on, go to video, wait for video to start being able to record, hit record, then aim it at the UFO. There almost would have been no time for that. Or if I did try to do that, I would have missed everything that happened. You know what I mean? Like, I would have missed it. If I tried to record it, I would have missed it. It just wasn't enough time. And I wish I could give you what is in my brain. I wish I could make that a tangible thing, and I can hand that over to people. And I can say, here, this is what I saw. Watch it.
Well, okay, and when you saw this thing hovering, exactly what size would you say? Like, how large was this thing?
Like, it was about, what I was thinking, it was about 6 feet in diameter, 6 to 8 feet in diameter. And of course,
like an orb, maybe an orb.
It was a perfect circle. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking, like, is this a digital sign? Is some kind of picture going to pop up on it? Or is this a plain sign and it just needs vinyl laid on it? Or I don't know. It was just like, I thought it was a sign. You know, at first I thought it was a firework just because it was going up from the other side of a tree. And then I was like, that's a sign. Some sign just got installed. Or there's a sign that I never noticed that goes up and down, up and down. I just never noticed it. So I'm just going to keep staring at it and wait for it to do something else. And then whoosh,
it did something else.
Out of town. And then it was just too late to do anything. And
now, which direction did it take off in?
In my direction, I was looking at my phone. I think it was actually true north. I think Vegas is slightly off tilt. You know what I mean? Because I'm supposed, like, streets are going parallel and everything, this and that. Well, I think that the town is slightly askew because it didn't go directly straight. It went a little bit out of an angle to a right. So I was able to see it as it went. And if it was like going completely away from me, it would have like basically just gotten smaller and smaller and then disappeared. And I wouldn't have been able to get a good sense of the distance and its motion. But because it went a little bit to the right, just saw it so clearly. And it was a perfectly clear night, no clouds out, and it wasn't windy. The thing didn't make any noise when it took off. It didn't change color. It didn't change intensity. It just went from sitting there to gone.
Were there any other pedestrians in the area at the time?
There weren't any. And I honestly, I don't remember any cars going by at the time. I've been like racking my brain thinking like, were there cars going by? I don't remember cars going by. I just remember just staring at that circle right above the trees and then it was gone.
And so that it was a parking lot. You're saying, what kind of parking lot is it? Is it concrete or is it a dirt parking lot that you said it was hovering in?
It used to be a dark parking lot, but it's essentially like a light gray color.
No, I mean a dirt parking lot, or was it?
No, it was like all pavement. It was a completely paved parking lot, but it's not. It's old, so it's not black anymore. It's like gray.
And what's it for, that parking lot? Do you know?
I don't know what that building is for. There's that building that's right on the corner, and I have no idea what it was for. I had seen cars in front. I thought it was a operational business, but shortly after the UFO sighting, there were never any cars there. And then over these last couple of years, we've been noticing that the trees are dying. They're all dead. Now they're gone because they just tore that building down just a couple of days ago.
Wow.
But we noticed that the trees were dying. I'm sorry.
So you think the trees dying had something to do with that craft, perhaps?
I think it may. I don't know. I refuse to go over there and check it out because of watching videos and they're like, oh, don't go over there. There could be radiation. So I'm like, I'm not going over there. And I forbid my son from going over there and his friends. I'm like, dude, stay the F away from that corner. Go around it. I don't care. Look at it, but do not go over there. Stay away. So I haven't been in that exact spot where the UFO was ever. I've never stood and like looked around like, ooh, it was right here. I want nothing to do with going over in that corner.
So what's your feeling?
I'll observe from a distance.
What's your feeling now about this? Like, I mean, this changes. I mean, I think for me, it changed a lot for me. Like my whole viewpoint that when I saw a craft back in 1994, and also I had another experience. I was telling you about that yesterday when I was a kid. When I encountered a creature, it took me a long time to figure out what it was. And then in 1994, I saw that craft along with another witness. And that to me, when that happened, after that, when I was like, oh my God, this is really real. This confirms everything that I was thinking. And I'm solid there now. How does that, like, now this is what 4 years now, almost
3 years, just over 3 years,
just over 3 years that this occurred. Like, how has this changed your viewpoints?
It makes me think that we're very stupid. It makes me think that we're worthy of what I'm calling galactic knowledge, like how this technology works. I'm calling galactic knowledge. We're not worthy of it. The fighting in Ukraine and Israel and all, like we're killing each other. We're all humans. We're fighting each other, and that's what it made me realize. Like, this is all stupid. Us fighting each other, the racism. There's so much BS going on our planet. We're not worthy of these aliens talking to us, and that might be why. And what I was starting to think about was how insignificant really we are, and how stupid we are, and how we're wasting our lives living the way we are, killing each other, repressing each other.
It's tough.
We're not very good people as a species. We have too many narcissists and sociopaths and murderers and rapists. I think we need to figure out how to eliminate those kind of people from our society, because like this new technology that these aliens are using, that's dangerous stuff. And the whole point of it being dangerous, we can't have anybody around these objects who can manipulate them and kill the whole planet or kill some other star system. That's probably why that's probably one of the reasons why they don't want to talk to us. And that's okay. And one of the things I do want to talk about is they're here and they're not talking to us. They're doing their own thing. The government, I don't think, is working with them. They seem to be doing whatever it is that they want at will. I think we are their experiment, and they're watching us evolve. They're watching us go from no wheel to having a wheel, to having no electricity, to having the whole planet is now lit up, just about, other than South Korea or North Korea.
North Korea.
North Korea is about like the darkest place on the entire planet. But I think we're their experiment. That's what I think.
Could be.
I think that they have. I think just like we would have, if we sent another astronaut to say some other distant planet, they would have protocols and they would have rules that they would have to follow while they're gone. And I think these aliens have the same kind of rules or laws. And like I was saying about intergalactic knowledge, there's very well could be intergalactic laws out there that we're not even aware of. And if there are multiple species of alien coming here, that means there has to be a galactic law of some sort, because they got to be getting along. We don't see them shooting each other down for dominance over our planet. We never see that. Like, I say that, and then I've seen some of those, like what I think are fake videos of like lights in the sky, and it looks like lasers are being shot. And I'm going to say that's probably just CGI crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of fakery all throughout the internet. I bring that up all the time. There's a lot of stuff out there that's just not true. This is the true stuff. I mean, these I think these beings are extremely secretive, and obviously, you know, when they do take off, they know what's around their surroundings. They probably maybe they knew that you and your son were there, but you know, it's like only two people. You know what? Who cares? Let them see us. Let them go tell everybody if they want to. It's not gonna, you know, half the people won't believe them, or the other half will be a quarter of them might believe them, and then the other quarter will be somewhere in the middle. So that could be the situation. You said you don't even remember any cars. So yeah, it could be something like that. We just don't know. Here's the thing. They're here. We really can't say for sure what's going on with them, but there is something definitely here, and people really need to start getting it through their skulls, because all of these people, right, we're all not lying to you, right? And we have enough evidence at this point that shows that we're not alone. That's the way I look at it.
This UFO rabbit hole is infinite. Like, I am not into conspiracy theories at all. They hurt my brain. Like, shut up. Like, the most logical and reasonable explanation is probably the correct one. Don't come at me with all these crazy conspiracies. But when you come to the aliens, nothing is off the table. Nothing. Anything could really be a possibility. Of the government working with them, they're not working with them. They're abducting us, they're not abducting us. Like, everything is on the table because they are here. And everyone watching, and get this through your head. Aliens are here. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, they are here now. We need to further the conversation. And we were talking yesterday. I don't think we need the government to finally acknowledge that they are here. We know that they're here. I've seen it. You've seen it. There's thousands of other people have seen it. We need to further the conversation. Why are these aliens not talking to us? We have supposedly been searching for intelligent life for decades. And yet we have, A, come up with nothing so far, and B, they have to know that we are searching. So why don't they, like, hey, here we are, right here. Hey, well, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. Why are they not talking to us unless we're their experiment? And they have these rules where they can't interfere with us.
I mean, there's all kinds of theories with regard to that. There's this guy named David M. Jacobs, and he did a lot of research into the abduction phenomena. He came to the conclusion that that there's some secret hybridization program. That's the reason that they're here, and they're just basically slowly taking over the planet. I don't know if he's right or not, but he's somebody who actually did research into this. I don't know what the answer is. And that's the whole bottom line is, I think we need to have the problem, the biggest problem that I have, and I always bring it up, is that the entire scientific community needs to be more involved in this issue, because you have, regardless of what the government says or doesn't say about this, it doesn't matter really at this point. We have enough evidence now in the public domain to declare that this is a real phenomenon. There are creatures here that are not human, that are more advanced than we are. I think there's enough evidence now, proof. We have enough proof. After all these decades, there's enough proof, and the scientific community needs to stop, because a lot of people in the scientific community itself, they ridicule it. They need to forget about that and just accept this reality that we are not alone, and these beings are obviously way more advanced than we are, to be able to hide themselves like this for so many decades in a way that prevents us somehow from, like, your experience. I mean, something, what that happened, but at the same time, you could tell your story, right? I could tell my story. We could tell all these stories till we're blue in the face, but it doesn't provide that absolute proof. All it is our experience. And so they've been able to keep themselves hidden away for the most part. I mean, but there's enough evidence at this point, I'd say, that proves that there's something here. And the scientific community needs to start looking at it that way, despite whatever, doesn't matter what the government does or doesn't do at this point.
Well, it kind of does matter what the government does, because people have disappeared over the years, where new inventions come up. The people who've created, or the person who created the engine that runs on water, that guy died. Like, all these inventions, that's a whole nother issue.
Well, yeah, that's
not go down that rabbit hole.
That's another rabbit hole. But I mean, regardless whether the government ever comes clean or not, right? And I just think that the scientific community as a whole, I mean, there are some people like Dr. Gary Nolan and Avi Loeb, right? Those guys, they're taking it seriously. The rest of the entire scientific community needs to realize that this is really happening, and they got to move forward from there. That's my issue. My biggest concern is that we're just sitting back waiting for maybe something bad to happen, and we're not going to be prepared for it, because the scientific community really hasn't been studying this at all for the most part, and they sit back laughing about it along with everyone else in the news media and stuff. I mean, more people are taking it seriously right now than ever before because of the stuff that happened in 2017 with the release of those Pentagon videos, and that's it. So, and you have all these whistleblowers now stepping forward. People are listening now. We're starting to get there. But the reality is there is something here now, and people need to begin to accept that.
Yes, they're here, and we need to accept it. And like I was telling you yesterday, I will take any drug that forces me to tell the truth. I will take a lie detector test to prove that I'm telling the truth about what I saw. See, and this is what kills me about these so-called whistleblowers. Now, is Corbell and Dr. Greer, are they considered whistleblowers?
No, they're more researchers.
Just ufologists, right?
Yeah, okay. I would say they're considered more ufologists. As you can see, everyone, Shane is not someone here who has been following this subject. He just happened upon a video. I think you're watching the Surviving the Survivor episode where me and Scott Roeder were on there talking about the Vegas case, and then that led to you finally eventually contacting me just in the past week here.
Yeah, so I had to write your names down because your conversation with you and Roeder, that was the first real legitimate conversation I have heard ever. And you all should check it out because
I'll leave a link for that episode, the Surviving the Survivor.
Because you know that they're here, so you don't leave a whole lot of room for discussion of, well, what is that in the sky? Like, we are stuck in a stagnant circle of going around and around and around of what is that in the sky? What is it? They're freaking aliens and they're here. Let's further discussion. Let's get off of what is that in the sky and let's discuss why are they here?
Right.
Why is that thing here? Why are they not talking to us? What do we do about it? Do we do nothing? Can we finally learn the real history of humanity? I don't think that scientists know the real history of humanity. I see in my news feed all the time about this artifact. It rewrites human history. This fossil, it rewrites how long we knew that these dinosaurs were around. Scientists don't know nearly as much as I think they pretend to, or it seems like we hope that they do. That I don't think they have a clear understanding of what has really happened on this planet. I want the truth. I want to know, how long have humans been here? How long have these aliens been here? How long has this been going on? Is this going to continue going on? Are we going to be going into a different type of future? Like, are we on the cusp of being able to visit 3 or 4 different other planets? Maybe not anytime soon, but within the next 100 years, is that a possibility? I want to know the truth about everything. I want no more secrets. None.
Well, there was an article I guess a couple of days ago. One of the Congress people, Luna, Congresswoman Luna, she's talking about there's going to be a big announcement next week, and maybe they're going to give us something. I doubt that it's going to be a UFO disclosure, but maybe they're going to give us some more breadcrumbs from the government. That's what it seems like we've been getting, just little breadcrumbs here and there. And then when you present the real evidence, then no, you can't tell. You're getting ahead of yourself.
You're out of order. You're out of order. No,
that's what it is.
Close the doors.
We actually present the real proof that shows that we're definitely not alone, right? And you're getting ahead of yourself here. We got to do this a little bit slower. That's what I feel has been happening here with regard to this Vegas case. But what's interesting now is the fact that you've contacted me to let everyone out there know that 2 years, or a little less than 2 years actually, before that incident happened, year and a half. Right, a year and a half before that incident happened, you saw that same kind of thing, except it was taken off, and it took off at an incredible speed horizontally across the sky, and was just blew your mind. And so you saw one of these same kind of craft. Maybe they're hanging out in Vegas all the time. Maybe they're all over the place all the time. Maybe they're depositing these creatures on the ground all the time. We have no idea what the hell's going on. And that's why it's a shame our government doesn't tell us these things, because they're leaving us here, setting us up to be caught with our pants down at some point in the future. That's how I feel.
The future looks bleak.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm very worried about what's going to happen. I have a 13-year-old. I have a 16-year-old daughter. What are my kids going to live through in the next 20, 30 years? Because stuff is getting crazy right now. When I was a kid, we didn't have UFOs, in the news all the time, and the possibility of you could actually go out and see one. If you live on the eastern seaboard, you might be able to go out and like, oh, there's one of those weird drones that could be a UFO. Like now there's that possibility we could actually have, like, you could actually go out there and spot one now, but are you going to believe it if you see it? You're going to put your head in the sand and say, oh, no, it was something else.
They say ignorance is bliss, but it can also be dangerous, especially if you don't address the issues that it presents to. When there's certain things happening, and if you don't want to look into it, then you could be setting yourself up for disaster in the future. And that's how I look at this too. I just think that people need to. I mean, the whole world. That's my issue. The whole world, particularly the scientific community, needs to finally, get over this hump and start accepting the reality. We are definitely not alone. There's something here, and they are running rings around any technology that we have. That's what it seems like to me.
They are. I mean, what I saw made cars, planes, trains, boats, motorcycles obsolete. Absolutely obsolete. That thing, like if I had to go to work, I would be at work in about a second. It would take me a second to get to work. Here now, it takes me 15 minutes to get to work. I mean? And if I want to go visit family on the other side of the country, I got to take a plane. It's going to take me 6.5 hours. If I had this craft, I'd be there in a minute or less. I'd be there in about a minute. And it was funny because about, what's his name? Bob Lazar, he was saying how like the UFOs don't have creature comforts in them. Probably because they're not in them very long. Like what
Yeah,
they don't need comforters because they're going to be sitting down for a minute, 2 minutes. We don't know how long their travel time is, and my theory is, I think that the visiting planet just might be 9 months our travel time away, and I think that I saw it in November, and then a year and a half later, it's here in like May or June, a year and a half later. And then on the 3-year anniversary of my UFO experience was the start of all these drones and UFOs and all these sightings. Back in November is when it started. And that's when that would be the 3-year anniversary. So that's my working theory, that it's a round trip there and back is about a year and a half. And I think that's what I think.
What Shane, what do you have to say to people out there who have experiences but are afraid to talk about them?
Don't be afraid to talk about it. Open your mouth. Let the words come out. Don't worry about what other people are going to say. You can't control what other people are going to say or what they're going to think. You can't control if they're going to believe you or not. Even I have seen one and I still may not believe you. So don't worry about it. Just say it. Speak your truth. Tell what happened. Be as descriptive as you can and just move on. But you gotta realize the reality that we're living in, and don't keep your head in the sand anymore. Don't accept the government lying to us. Don't accept that this is where we are in life. We can do better. We can progress. Ooh, you got a phone call, Mr. Popular.
Yeah. I'll give him a call back later. I guess, something came to mind that's interesting. If I was taking a walk in the woods somewhere and I saw a bear, right, and I told people about, I took a walk in the woods and I saw a bear, they would believe me and just think nothing of it. If I was taking a walk in the woods and saw, 20 deer crossed my path, nobody would think much of it. Or, if I saw a bald eagle flying around in the sky, I tell people about it, nobody would think nothing of it. They would believe me. But when you tell someone you saw a UFO, something that was, behaving in a way that our aircraft could not behave, it would be impossible to behave, then people question it. It's just funny to me. And even when there's multiple witnesses, a lot of times, it's just strange how we handle this, to me, how we deal with this, I just think some people have a problem accepting it. I think it scares them deep down, and they just, they don't want to even think about it. I think they'd rather, no.
Some people are like that. I think there are a lot of people who like, nope, I don't want to believe it. Nope. I want to believe what I want to believe, and that's just what I want to believe. And we have to actually accept that. As ignorant as that is, we have to let people be people. And all you can do is try and smack them upside the head as gently as you can to wake them up. But people are going to be ignorant. And I was telling you the other day, don't waste your breath on these flat earther type people. Don't even waste your breath. It's not worth your time. You're not gonna gain anything from it, and they're not gonna gain anything from it. I mean, people observing may they may hey, I feel more comfortable because he's defending, telling the truth versus hiding and lying or whatnot. But I'm not. Well, I'm about to make a channel, and I can tell you, I'm planning on not ever addressing any of these flat earther type people because it's not worth my time or breath.
Well, I think I told you, and you're not the only one who said this. Like I do that a lot on my channel. I'll talk about some of the things that a debunker will say. For instance, someone who tries to makes demeaning comments about some of the evidence that we present, and some people say that maybe I shouldn't be wasting my time on that. And I understand that, and I probably shouldn't in a way. But at the same time, I in my head I keep thinking to myself, I feel like somebody needs to act like walking in the room, busting up all the furniture, smashing everything up, and just this is real. And these are the stupid people. For decades, the people who had experiences are treated like pretty much like they're crazy or they're stupid or something, right? I'm trying to reverse that. That's one of the things I'm trying to point out. No, you're stupid. These people are stupid, and I get all worked up about it. And that's why I'm doing it, because I think by doing that, maybe you'll give other people courage to step forward. And at some point I'll probably, be done with that. That's, but for the time being, that's why I sometimes do that. And
hey,
wrong or right.
It's fun making people look stupid when they open their mouth and prove to the world how stupid they are. It's fun. It's convenient. It's entertaining. It's a little bit enjoyable, but it's a waste of breath. It's a waste of time. I mean, honestly, it may be needed, and I totally understand you. I understand you because I haven't been trolled yet, so I'm not coming from the perspective. No, I want to defend myself. I don't care. I don't care what people say or think, to a degree. It's when people don't want to believe you, it's a little bit hurtful. But what can you do? You can't hit them over the head with a hammer.
No, I guess you're right. I mean, it's time to start moving on to a different kind of way of handling this. I sometimes I say that I'll say, what, I'm done with these debunkers. I'm moving on. But at the same time, I'll end up going back when there's something stupid. Like basically, I got attacked recently on Twitter by a bunch of people, and it's like, so I had to respond. I'm not going to just sit there and say anything, not say nothing. But so now this time, I think from here on out, though. I'll try to pull back on that a little bit, but I can't promise.
Do what you do. Just do what you do. I'm saying it's a waste of breath, and you're so smart, and you have all this knowledge that you could be putting that to better use than wasting 15 minutes arguing with a moron. I mean,
right?
It's entertaining.
Yeah, what you're saying does make sense. Just keep talking about the evidence and the proof that we have, and just until those people become completely irrelevant and nobody listens to them anymore. And that's probably the better way to proceed. Maybe that's the high road.
And more likely, they'll end up changing their mind.
Hopefully, yeah. I keep hoping for that. I keep hoping that someday to hear back from one of these people that have attacked me over the last year, and say, hey, I'm sorry, you were right. But I doubt. How people are. Some people don't want to admit when they're wrong. I have no problem with it. I think it makes you a bigger person when you admit when you're fault. When you make a mistake, you're better off to I screwed up. Moving on. Let's move on now. You're better off. But
I'm full of mistakes. I'm not perfect, and listen to me talking here. I'm so nervous. Like I want everyone to know what I have in my brain and experience what I experience, but I can't give it to you. And all I can say is you just gotta believe. You just gotta trust. Don't have faith. Just trust.
Well, I believe
I have nothing to gain.
Yeah,
and I appreciate you. I appreciate you believing in me. And I was thinking about this last night. I believe you too, Jim. I believe you. It's not easy to say that I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay. I still like that issue with the alien being on the other side of the blanket and then going like this to you.
The hand.
Yeah, doing
It's
that.
crazy. I
I got
know.
some issues with that. Like, but I'm
It's
gonna believe
tough.
you. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt because I know that they're real. I know that they're here. So it'd be hypocritical for me to say your experience isn't true, but mine is. Mine really happened, but yours did not. Hey, hello, America. You hear? You ready for this? The aliens are here. Are you ready to move on with it? You ready for the next conversations? They're here. Get over it. And I say that to myself all the time. Like, I almost thought about creating making that the channel name is They're Here, because that just goes through my mind all the time. Like, they're here. They are here. They are here. They're here. Do you understand? They are here.
I know.
Not
I don't.
out there. They are here. Here.
Luckily, a lot of the people who subscribe to my channel are already there. But it's the rest of the world that most importantly the scientific world that needs to do a better job at this and looking into it and trying to figure out what in the hell is happening here and what are these things, why are they here, what are they doing. That's what we need to
make
have.
that next step. We need that next step, and I don't know if it's going to be the government finally admitting the truth, or oh man, wouldn't that be awesome if a civilian could come upon a crash site and get that on YouTube before the government gets there. Let's see some real. We need that next step. We need that more concrete proof. But man, they're elusive. They don't hang around very long, and then it's not easy to get these videos because they're gone. And even if you do know what you're looking at, you may not have time to even record it, and by the time you realize what you're looking at, it's just too late.
Right.
They're here, then they're gone, and they move so fast.
Well, the one good thing about the government is that at least one thing that they have, they do confirm that there's some things out there they have no explanation for. But the problem when they say that, they also usually add, but if we had better scientific equipment to study this, we would have answers for you. Like they believe that if they had better ways to measure these things, that it would be a prosaic explanation at the end of it. Actually, the way I'm looking at it, actually, the alien explanation is a prosaic explanation because it's real. That's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm trying to.
You use the college word. No fair. No fair. This guy used the college word. What was that? Prosaic? What was that?
Prosaic, like
I've never heard that word before.
Prosaic. Okay, prosaic means it's just like a regular old a prosaic cup of coffee. There's nothing special about it. I mean, that's what I mean. There's an answer for it.
That's a new one. I haven't heard. I don't think I've ever heard that word. That's for this paterfamilias. That's a new word.
Wow. Well, that's a word that so I don't know. A prosaic explanation means there's nothing special about the explanation. It's something that everyone's usually aware of. But to me, right, the alien explanation should be a prosaic explanation. I mean, because that's the reality of the situation. I mean, if they're really here, there's nothing supernatural about it. It's just natural. So that's how I see things. And the people.
Go ahead, keep going.
And the people who think that are keep denying this or refuse to look at the evidence or look at it or half look at it, do a half-ass thing, then they're not doing their due diligence and they're failing to me.
And they're not doing themselves justice.
No, they're tricking themselves in a way. They're tricking themselves along with other people that might like them and count on them to deliver the truth. And that's another issue I have too, is when people are lied to on a regular basis by other people and they fall in line and they think that they're being, and it could be just that they need that echo chamber. Like, I don't understand, like, who would follow a debunker? Why would a debunker have so many fans? It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's because there are people who have issues with this whole topic and they don't want it to be true, and they need to be told over and over and over again that it's not true, and that could be the reason for it.
That's very well could be the case, because you can use other instances of where people just don't want to know the truth and don't want to know reality. Like, you can look at racism. You say, well, black people have been looked down upon over these last 100 years, and other people, oh no, they haven't. Well, some people have their head in the sand and others don't. You know, it's just a different topic.
Right.
When it comes to aliens, I mean, it's more comfortable, I think, to keep your head in the sand, because
you won't be viewed as nuts.
Well, not that it's nuts. I think it's what it implies. If aliens are here, that means our future is going to drastically change in the very near future in unimaginable ways. And that may be very scary for people.
Oh, but, and you know what? But and here's the thing, and I understand it could be a scary thing. The future could be bleak because of this, and we don't know. It could be good. We just don't know. But the issue is, it doesn't matter. We still need to acknowledge this as a whole, and then take it from there.
Yeah.
Well, Shane, I want to say, I figure we'd be talking for about an hour now, and I think it's time.
We're going in circles a little bit.
We're going to wrap it up here, and I want to say thank you very much for coming on the show today and talking about your experience. I thought it was fascinating, and it's just another piece of information to throw into the kitty to show the rest of the world, hey, believe it or not, accept it or not, but this is what Shane and his sons experienced back in 2021.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate the opportunity to be able to, even though I didn't do a very good job, I didn't quite explain everything the way I wanted to. I was so nervous. I'm still nervous. I'm not used to being on camera and the pressure of being recorded. So I apologize for my stuttering and.
No, you did fine. It was good. It was a good conversation. I mean, you're a regular guy out there, you know, raising your son, going to work every day, and here you had this experience. You wanted to talk about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. And you did a good job, I thought. So I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Well, thank you, Jim. And I'm telling you, Jim, I'm keeping your number in my phone, and you're going to hear from me again. I plan on talking to you, and I'm going to have you on my show when I finally get my camera and microphone, and I get these stupid things out of my ears and get a real setup. I want you to be on my show, and hopefully I'll have a little more confidence and a plan. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'll have my own good video.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to talk to you again, man. I'm telling you, when I heard your videos, I really connected with you. And after talking to you, I swear to God, I think I made a friend. Like,
yeah.
That's how I feel about you. I really like you. And I appreciate what you're doing, and don't stop it. And don't worry about, I'm telling you not to mess with the flat earthers, but just keep doing it. Keep picking on them. Do your thing. Don't listen to me. Just do your own thing.
There's always a good thing to get advice from other people. I have no problem with that whatsoever. All right. Well, I want to say thank you all for joining us here today. Until next time.
Thank you.